So, good evening, everybody.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening. Good evening.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening. So, shall we start? Is PPT visible?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So, I have talked about the attendance issue, and there will not be any problem in the attendance. They have assured that it will be visible to you by today, and even if it is not visible, it is there. So, we have also maintained the manual attendance. So, don't worry about the attendance. Okay.
Okay, sir.
So, we start module 2, that is differential calculus. So we'll discuss today something about differential calculus. So let us start. I hope students are joining. So function or mapping, what is mapping? Now any student, what is mapping? Can you give some idea about the mapping? Any student? Okay, so let us start. Let S and T be any two non-empty sets. Then a function or mapping S to T is a rule. So it is from S to T, denoted by mapping F S to T, which associate to each element of S belong to S, a unique element Y belongs to T. So the X element belongs to S and Y element belongs to T. So this element Y, written as Y is equal to Fx, is called the image of X, and X is called a pre-image of Y. So the set S is called the domain and T the codomain. So we have to remember that when there is a mapping of function f from S to T, then S set is the domain and T set is the codomain of the mapping f S to T. Now the set S, that is Fs is Fx, where x belongs to capital S, is called the range of the function or mapping f from S to T. Now for example, if f is a mapping from n to n, that is natural number set defined as fx is equal to x square, where x belong to capital N is a function. And second, if n belongs to y, defined by fn is equal to minus 1 raised to the power n, where I is integer, set of integer. So it is a function. So we can say it is function or mapping if it is defined as it is given here. So here we have two examples of function or mapping. Now a mapping f from S to T is called 1-1 mapping. If x is not equal to y, this implies fx should not be equal to fy, where x and y belongs to set S. Or we can say in other word, if fx is equal to fy, that implies x is equal to y, where xy belongs to S. So in this case, either it satisfies first or second, then mapping is said to be 1-1 mapping. Another is mapping, that is a mapping f from S to T is called onto mapping if for each t belongs to capital T, there exists some s belong to capital S such that fs is equal to t. So it is called onto mapping. Now another definition is a mapping f from S to T is called bisective if it is both 1-1 and onto. So it should have 1-1 and it is also onto, then we can say it is a bijective mapping. So here we have some example. Mapping from n to n defined as fx is equal to x square, where for all x belongs to n is 1-1 but not onto. For example, if we take fx as -1 or +1, we'll get the same value. So it is not onto. Another example is mapping from I to I defined as fx is equal to x plus 3 for all x belongs to I is 1-1 and onto. So in this case, for each and every x will get one fx. So it is bijective mapping. Now third is, if mapping is I to I defined by fx is equal to x square for all x belongs to I, it is neither 1-1 nor onto. And if mapping is from -1 to 1 to -1-1 defined by fx is equal to 2 mod x minus 1 for all x belongs to this set is onto but not 1-1. So these are some examples of different mappings. Now we come to the limits. Suppose we have a function fx. So it is single variable function and the single variable independent is x. The value of function attains as the variable x approaches a particular value, say a. That means if x tends to a is called its limit. So the value it approaches as x tends to a is called the limit of the function, where a is some p-assigned value and it is generally denoted as limit x tends to a fx is equal to l. So we have two type of limits in case of single variable. Suppose we take any point and we generally take along the real axis. Suppose this is real line, that is x, and if we take at x is equal to a, so either we can approach to the x is equal to a to this particular value either from left or from right. So we have only two different ways to approach x is equal to a. So we approach from left to right, then value of x will be a minus, so it will be left hand limit. And if we approach from right to left, so it will be slightly greater than a, and then it will approach to a, so it will be a right hand limit. So we have only two ways to approach x is equal to a, that is from left hand limit and right hand limit. So what is left hand limit? The expected value of the function shown by the points to the left of a point a is the left hand limit of the function at that particular point. It is denoted by limit x tends to a minus fx. So it is left hand limit. Now again we can see that right hand limit, the points to the right of a point A, which shows the value of the function is the right hand limit of the function at that point. It is generally denoted by limit x tends to a plus fx. So it is right hand limit. So in case of single variable, we have only two approaches to approach x is equal to a. Either we can move from left to right, or we can move from right to left. So first is called left hand limit and second is called right hand limit. Now further, if the right hand limit and left hand limit coincide, please mute your mic. Thank you. So if the right hand limit and left hand limit coincide, we say that common value is the limit of function fx at x is equal to a, and we denote it by limit x tends to a fx. So we have to check both the limit, that is left hand limit as well as right hand limit. Please mute your mic. So if left hand limit is equal to right hand limit, then we can say limit exists and it is limit x tends to a fx. Now there are certain properties of limit. Now number one is, if we find the limit x tends to a c, where c is any constant, so it will remain c. Second is limit x tends to a of x, where function fx is x. So we find the limit of function fx is equal to x. We can directly put the value and it will be equal to a. We find the limit x tends to a bx plus c, where b and c are any constants. So we can put directly and it will be equal to ba plus c. Limit x tends to a x raised to power n. So we can directly put the value x is equal to a and it will be a raised to power n, where n is a positive integer. Now number 5 is limit x tends to 0 plus. Now if we take plus or minus, that means plus indicate it is right hand side and minus indicate it is left hand side. So it is left hand limit and right hand limit. So limit x tends to 0 plus, that means the value is approaching to something tends to 0, but it is slightly greater than 0. So we are approaching from slightly greater than 0 to the 0. So it is right hand limit and it is 1 upon x raised to power r. So it will be plus infinity, because its value in denominator we are getting 0 and it is approaching to 0. Now limit x tends to 0 minus, so it is left hand limit. So we are approaching to 0 from the left of this point x is equal to 0, and if we put the value, then its value will be minus infinity if r is odd. If r is odd, we get the minus, and if r is even, we'll get the plus. So limit x tends to infinity, limit x tends to 0 minus 1 by x raised to the power r is plus infinity if r is even, and if r is odd, its value is minus infinity. So we have to remember these results. These are very useful while evaluating the limits. So algebra of limits, we have to remember these some results. If f and g be any two functions such that their limit x tends to a fx and limit x tends to a gx exists. So if limit exists for f and g, where f and g are functions of x, then we have these certain properties. Number one, addition. We can find the limit x tends to a of fx plus gs. So we can find the limit as summation of the limit. So limit x tends to a fx plus limit x tends to a gx. So limit of summation of function is equal to summation of limit of the function. Similarly, we can do in subtraction. Limit x tends to a, fx minus gx will be given as limit x tends to a fx minus limit x tends to a gx. Now product of limits, we find the limit x tends to a fx into gx. So here we have product of any two functions. So we can separately take their limits as a product of two limits. So it will be equal to limit x tends to a fx into limit x tends to a gx. Now quotient rule, if limit x tends to a fx upon gx, then it will be limit x tends to a fx divided by limit x tends to a gx. But there is a condition that provided the denominator is not equal to 0, that is limit x tends to a gx should not be equal to 0. And if we take the limit of any constant, then it will remain the constant. Now polynomial function. So consider a polynomial function fx is equal to a0 plus a1x plus a2x square plus and so on up to an xn, where a0, a1, a2 and so on up to an are all constants. So at any point x is equal to a, the limit of this polynomial function can be taken as limit x tends to a fx. So we find the limit of this function. We have to substitute this value of function fx as a0 plus a1x plus and so on, where a0, a1, a2 and up to an, these are constants. So limit of some expression can be obtained as summation of the limits of these expressions. So we can separately find the limit and we can write them as summation of the limits. And if we take the limit of x, we can directly put x is equal to a, so it will be equal to a. Similarly here it will be equal to an and so on. So we'll get the required limit as a0 plus a1 into a plus a2 a square and so on up to an into a raised to power n. Rational function, if limit of any rational function of the type px upon qx, where qx is not equal to 0 and px qx are polynomial functions, so that is the difference. If px and qx both are polynomial function, even then we can find the limit of their ratio, that is limit x tends to a px divided by limit x tends to a qx, and then further we can put the value of px and qx as polynomials. So we'll get the value of this limit. So here we have trigonometrical functions. We have to remember some limits in case of trigonometrical functions because these are very useful while evaluating the limits. The trigonometric functions sine and cosine have following important limits properties. So number one is we find the limit x tends to c, it is c. Sin x, it will be sin c. So in case of sine, if x tends to some constant, we can directly put and it will be equal to sin c. Now number two, we take the limit x tends to c cos x. So we can directly put x is equal to c and it will be a value that is cos c. So we can directly put in case of x is tending to some constant. Now number three, it is more important. If limit x tends to 0, so it is x is tending to 0, sin x upon x. So sin 0 is 0 and if we divide it by 0, it is 0 over 0. So you can directly remember the limit of this. Limit x tends to 0, sin x upon x is equal to 1. Now limit number 4. limit x tends to 0, 1 minus cos x upon x. So if we put the limit, then it is 1 minus cos x upon x. So we get in numerator it is 1 minus 1 upon 0. So 0 upon 0. So we can directly remember these limits that after evaluation it will be equal to 0. So we can directly put these limits as formulas. And the next is number 5. Limit x tends to a tan x upon x. Again it is very much similar to sin x. So if we get limit x tends to 0 sin x upon x, it is 1. And if we get limit x tends to 0 tan x upon x, it is 1. So these we should remember for evaluating the limits. So here we have some examples how we can evaluate the limits. So example number 1, find the limit x tends to 2 x cube plus 2x square plus 4x minus 2. So this is simple algebraic expression, or you can say a polynomial. So we can distribute the limits. So limit x tends to 2 x cube plus 2x square plus 4x minus 2. So we can separately find the limit. So here we write limit x tends to 2 x cube, then we can find the limit. Here 2 is the constant, limit x tends to 2 x square, and then so on. And after that we can directly put value limit x tends to 2. So we get this value 2 cube plus 2 into 2 square plus 4 into 2 minus 2, and after simplification we get it is equal to 22. So in this way we can directly evaluate if it is simple expression or polynomial. Similarly, in this case it is a polynomial, we can directly put x tends to minus 2. So as we have done in example 1, we can directly put the value, and then after evaluation we get its value is minus 7. So that is the limit. Now find the limit of x square minus 9 upon x plus 3, where x is tending to minus 3. So here it is x is tending to minus 3. So if x is tending to minus 3, we simply try to put this. It is 9 minus 9 upon minus 3 plus 3. So we get the form 0 over 0. Now whenever we get the form 0 over 0, either it is indeterminate form, or we can remove this indeterminate form by simply making the factor of the expressions, and then we can check that any common factor is there, we can cancel out. So first we try to do the factors and then we check the common factors. So here we can see that we find the limit x tends to minus 3x square minus 9. It can be written as x plus 3 x minus 3, and x plus 3 is the common factor. So we can cancel this common factor. So it will be limit x tends to minus 3 x minus 3. We simply put this value, then it is minus 6. So this is the answer. So that is one way. If we get any expression as fraction, so we can always check, or we should always check whether there is some factors, and if there are some common factors, then we can cancel, and then we can evaluate the limit. So here we have another example. Find the limit of the function. So we check limit x tends to 3. We put 3, x is equal to 3. We can see that it is 3 by 5 minus 3 by 5. So it is 0. And in denominator, if we put x is equal to 3, it is 0. So it is 0 over 0 form. So somehow we have to simplify and then check whether there is some common factor. If there is some common factor, we'll cancel them, and then we will try to evaluate the limit. So as we can see from here, we can take LCM, then it will be 5x minus 3 into x plus 2, and in denominator it will be 5x plus 2x minus 3. So we simplify this, it is 5x minus 3x minus 6. So we can simplify this, which is in numerator, so it will be 2x minus 6, and then we can take common 2, and then we can cancel this common factor x minus 3. Because of this common factor we were getting 0 over 0. Now it is out of the form of 0 over 0, and we can directly put the value, and if we put the value x tends to 3, it will be 2 upon 5 into 5. So we get 2 upon 25. That is the answer. So here we can check the limit of different function. For example, in short, we have taken the question limit x tends to 2 minus. It is minus. So x tends to 2 minus mod of x minus 2 upon x minus 2. In second case, we have take x tends to 2 plus, and then limit x tends to 2. So definition of mod is, if mod x is equal to x if x is positive, and it is minus x if x is negative, that is less than 0. So anyhow, in mod, when we remove this mod, function should be positive. So as x approaches 2 from the left, so x minus 2 will be negative, and now x minus 2 will be negative, so we'll put minus sign so that it will remain positive. So whatever it is in mode, whether it is positive or negative, it will remain positive. So now it is positive because it is slightly negative, so we can put minus sign before it, and then we can evaluate the limit, as you can see from here, and we can cancel x minus 2, so it will be minus 1. So its limit is, that is left hand limit is minus 1. Now in second part, B part, limit x tends to 2 plus mod x minus 2 upon x minus 2. We are approaching from right, so it is right hand limit, and when we move from right, so it is positive x, so x minus 2 is positive, so it will remain positive after removing the mod, and if we take the limit, then it will be equal to 1. So left hand limit is minus 1, right hand limit is 1. So limits are different. So as left hand limit is not equal to right hand limit, so we can say limit does not exist for the case of C, that is limit x tends to 2. Limit does not exist, as left hand limit is not equal to right hand limit, so limit does not exist. So we have to check the left hand limit as well as right hand limit, and if both are different, we say limit does not exist. So we have taken different type of example. Here we have taken limit x tends to plus infinity, so it is plus infinity. So in case of if x is approaching to infinity, we have to take care that this x should be in denominator. So whatever it is, we'll take common maximum power of this x, and then we'll cancel out, and we'll ensure that all the x should be in denominator. So here, as we can see that x cube is the highest power. In numerator we can take common x cube. In denominator x4 is the highest power, so we can take common x4. Now we can cancel these three powers, and then we get it is 1 by x, 1 minus 2 x raised to power 3, and in denominator it is 5 minus 3 by x plus 2 by x cube. So we have to remember that if x is approaching to infinity, whether it is plus infinity or minus infinity, then in the expression x should be in the denominator, so that we can easily put the value and we'll get 0, as we know that 1 or something finite divided by infinity is always equal to 0. So put the value of x as infinity, so it is 0, and rest it is 1 by 5. So 0 is multiplied by 1 by 5, so its value is equal to 0. So in case If x is approaching to infinity, we have to ensure that before putting the limit, we have to put x in denominator. Now next example is for trigonometrical function. As we know that in case of sine, when x is tending to 0, we have the formula limit x tends to 0, sin x upon x is equal to 1. So here we have sine 4x, so we should write in denominator 4x, so we can multiply it by 4 in numerator and denominator as well. So we can separate these limit as a product. So limit x tends to 0, 4, and then limit x tends to 0, sine 4x upon 4x. So its value is 1, and here there is no x, so its value is 4. So finally its value is equal to 4. So we can say the original question has the limit is equal to 4, and that is the answer. Now similarly, we have this question, limit x tends to 0, sec x minus 1 upon x. We can put sec x as 1 by cos x, so it is 1 minus cos x upon x. Now we can separate this cos x, as we know that limit x tends to 0, 1 minus cos x upon x has directly formula that is equal to 0. So its value is equal to 0. So that is the answer. So here we have some practice questions. As you can see, these are first two are very simple. Then in third, we can factor, it is x plus 5, x minus 5. So in denominator, we can also get x plus 5, and then we can cancel out the common factor, and then we can evaluate the limit. So all these questions have some common factor in numerator and denominator. Then after cancellation, we get the limit, and here also we have common factor in numerator as well as in denominator. And here we can directly put the value after expansion of a plus b whole square. So you can easily do these questions. Here we have some more questions. We move to next topic, that is continuous function. A function f(x) is said to be continuous at a point A if each of the following condition is satisfied. Fa is defined, that is first condition, that function should be well defined at that particular point, that is the value. Limit x tends to a exist, that is left hand limit should be equal to right hand limit, and it should be equal to value of the function at that particular point. So if it's satisfied, then we can say f is continuous at x is equal to a, and limit x tends to fx is equal to fa, that is the value of the function at that particular point. Now in simple word, a function is said to be continuous if you can trace its graph without lifting the pen from the paper. So we write anything on the paper without lifting the pen, so it is continuous function. But if a function is said to be discontinuous when it has any gap, suppose we write like this and then we write from here, so it has a gap, so it has some discontinuity, it is not continuous function, and here it is a continuous function. So here we have some results on continuous function. Again, if f and g be any two functions such that they are continuous at x is equal to c, then for addition, f plus g is also continuous at x is equal to c. So if f is continuous function, g is continuous function, that implies f plus g is also a continuous function. F minus g is also a continuous function. F into g is also a continuous function, and f upon g is also a continuous function, provided the denominator is not equal to 0. So here we have some example on continuity. for example, we have to discuss the continuity of function fx is equal to x plus 3 at x is equal to minus 4. So we'll check the value of the function at x is equal to minus 4. As we can see, its value is minus 5. We can also find the limit, that is left hand limit and right hand limit. And if we see left hand limit is equal to minus 5, it is also equal to right hand limit. So we can conclude if left hand limit is equal to right hand limit is equal to value of the function, we say that function is continuous at the given particular point x is equal to minus 4. Now discuss the continuity of function fx is equal to 5 minus 2x when x is less than minus 3, and it is x square plus 2 when x is greater than equal to minus 3, and we have to check the continuity at x is equal to minus 3. So when the definition of continuity is applied to fx at x is equal to minus 3, we find these observations. F minus 3. So if we put f minus 3, what we have to do, we have to check whether at x is equal to minus 3 which function is there. So here x is equal to minus 3, so this function is defined as x square plus 2. So we put x is equal to minus 3, we have to use this function x square plus 2. So we can find the value of function at x is equal to minus 3 by this function, that is x square plus 2, which is defined for x is equal to minus 3, and now its value is equal to 11. Now we can check both the limits, that is left hand limit and right hand limit. So we find left hand limit here, limit x tends to minus 3 minus. So we can check limit x tends to minus 3 minus. So if minus 3 minus, that is a slightly less than this value, and for that function is defined as 5 minus 2x. So if x is less than 3, so we can see that suppose this point is x is equal to minus 3, so x is equal to minus 3. So if it is minus something, so it will be to the left hand side. Now if it is some plus, it is right hand side. And here we get the value 0. So in that way we can find the left hand limit, and for left the function is defined as 5 minus 2x. So we put the value and its value is again 11. Now here we can find right hand limit, and right hand limit is limit x tends to minus 3 plus fx. So we put the value and it is again equal to 11. So we can see that left hand limit is equal to right hand limit, and that is equal to value of the function. So we can say that function is continuous. So in case of continuity, we have to check whether function has some value. If its left hand limit is equal to right hand limit is equal to value of the function. So we can say function is continuous at x is equal to minus 3. Now discuss the continuity of function fx is equal to x square minus 4 upon x minus 2 at x is equal to 2. Now when we definition of continuity is applied at x is equal to c, that f2 does not exist. So we don't have the value, that is f2. So here we can see that if we find the limit, left hand limit, right hand limit, that will be exist. So left hand limit I think will be 4, right hand limit will be equal to 4. So limit exists and value is not defined, so we can say function is discontinuous at x is equal to 2. So here we can find some questions. We can check for question number 3 and 4. We can check the continuity at x is equal to 2. So you can try this question. Please find the limit, left hand limit, right hand limit at x is equal to 2, and then check whether its value is equal to value of the function. So if we see that f2 is well defined as f2 is, we can take the function that is 2x minus 1 at x is equal to 2. So we put x is equal to 2, it is 4 minus 1, so 3. So value of function is 3. If left hand limit is equal to right hand limit, that is equal to 3, we can say that function is continuous. So please try this question and then tell me the answer.
It is continuous.
The fourth one is not continuous.
Third one is continuous.
Okay, third is continuous.
Yes, sir.
Yes, it's continuous.
Okay, just a minute.
Yes, sir.
What about question number 4?
Not continuous.
So not continuous.
Not continuous, sir.
Not
Okay,
continuous.
what about next question?
Not continuous.
Not
Sir,
continuous.
can you please provide?
Okay, so you are able to find the continuity. Now we move next is definition of differentiation. In terms of calculus, it can be defined as the derivative of a function regarding the independent variable and can be applied to measure the function per unit change in the independent variable. So here let y is equal to fx be a function of x, then rate of change of y per unit change in x is given by dy by dx. So there are so many notation to denote this. So the function fx undergoes an change of h near to any point x, then the derivative of function is defined as f dash x. So we can take according to h, limit h tends to 0 of x plus h minus fx over h. So function is said to be differentiable if f dash a exists, and when a function is denoted as y is equal to fx, the derivative is indicated by any one of the following notation. We can write dy, where d stands for operator, that is d by dx, or we can simply write dy by dx or f dash or f dot. So there are so many notation. We can also write y1 or f1x or f1x. So there are so many notation to denote differential of y or fx with respect to x. So these are certain formulas. If u and v be any two functions such that their derivatives are defined in a common domain, then differential of constant is 0. Derivative of constant into u, where u is any function of x, so we can write it is c into differential of u with respect to x. It is u plus minus v, so we can separately differentiate them. If it is a product of two functions where u and v are function of x, so we can first differentiate one function, second will remain the same, plus then we can differentiate second function, one first will remain the same. So it is a product rule. And in case of quotient, we can write that denominator is square, then denominator differential of numerator minus numerator differential of denominator. So I think you are all familiar with all these chain rule. Dy by dx, we can differentiate dy by du, then du by dx. If y is function of u, and u is function of x. So that is called chain rule. Here we have some important formulas. dy dx sin x is equal to cos x. So if we write differential of sin u, then using chain rule we can write it is differential with respect to u, that is cos u, then du by dx. Similarly, d by dx of cos u we can first differentiate with respect to u of cos, that is minus sin u, and then differentiate u with respect to x. So similarly we can write all these formulas. Chain rule: if we have a composite function of x, then if dt by dx dv by dt exists, then df by dx is dv by dt into dt by dx. So it should be df by dt. So in that way we can write the chain rule. Here we have some examples, differentiate these functions. So these are simple. We can directly write differential of x raised to power n. So differential of x raised to the power n is n x raised to power n minus 1. So we can directly write this. You all can do that. So differentiate this function tx is this. So we can write under root x as 1 by 2. Cube root x7 is x raised to power 7 by 3, and then we can apply the formula directly. So dash mean differential with respect to x. Differentiate these functions. So here we apply the product rule. Here we can write it as first function, second function. Any one can be first and then second. So we write one function and differential of this. Then we can write this function and then differential of this. So we can differentiate one by one. We get three expression. We can differentiate one at a one time, and then the remaining two will remain the same, and then we can add. So here we have differential of quotient. Differential by substitution, or you can say also that we can do it by chain rule. Y is equal to sin x square. So first we'll differentiate with respect to sine, so it is cos x square, and then we'll differentiate of x square with respect to x, so it is 2x into cos x square, so it is 2x cos x square. So it is the answer. So here we have some simple examples of differentiation. Differentiate the function y is equal to sine cos x square. So first we'll differentiate with respect to sine, so it will be cos. Then we can differentiate cos x square, so we'll differentiate of cos, it will be minus sine. And then we can differentiate of this x square with respect to x, so it will be 2x. So finally it is minus 2x sine x square cos of cos x square. So it is in the argument. Find the derivative of function fx is equal to under root mx square plus 2nx plus l, where m and l are constants. So we can take this function as fu, that is under root u, where u is mx square plus 2nx plus l. So by chain rule, dy by dx, so we'll first differentiate y with respect to u, and then differential of u with respect to x. So dy by du is 1 by 2 under root u, it is of under root u, so under root x differential is 1 by 2 under root x, so it is this formula. And then we can differentiate u with respect to x, so it is 2mx plus 2n, so we can take 2 common. Now we can write dy by dx as by product of these two, dy by du, then du by dx. and we get this value. Finally substituting the value of u, we get this as the answer. So d by dx of cos 1 by x. So we can again put 1 by x as u. So dy by du can be written as minus sine u, because it is now cos u differential is minus sine u, and dy by dx is dy by du, then du by dx. So du by dx can be obtained as u is equal to 1 by x, so its differential is minus 1 by x square. So now we can put from here, its value is sine u upon x square, and we have minus sine 2 times, so it is minus minus plus. So its value is sine 1 by x upon x square. Now d by dx of sine x raised to power minus n. So we can do it by two different methods. One is x raised to power minus, and we can write 1 by x raised to power n. So 1 by x raised to power n, we can directly put the formula, and then we can write the differential coefficient of 1 by x, and differential coefficient of 1 by x is minus 1 by x square. So it will be minus n x raised to power minus n minus 1. So we can also do it by taking it as u. And we have these type of some more questions for your practice. And these are some questions for your chain rule. So thank you very much. If you have any doubt, you can ask.
Sir, will this PPT be available in the files on MS Team?
Yeah, I will upload after the lecture. I forgot to upload yesterday. I will upload all the 3 PPT. Okay.
Excuse me,
Okay,
sir.
sir.
Yes.
Sir, have you taken attendance?
Yeah, I'm taking the attendance right now.
Okay, sir.
Okay. So attendance, please. I have told you that there will not be any problem regarding your attendance. I hope it will be visible to you by today night, and if it is not visible, even then we are maintaining manually attendance, so there will not be any problem. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Nandini, attendance please. Nandini, Vanshveer. Okay. Samaksh Mittal, Nikhil Singh, Nikhil Singh, please mute your mic. When your name is there, you can unmute and then tell. Nikhil Singh, then Tushar Jain.
Present, sir. Tushar
Okay,
and present.
okay. Himang Bhatia, Himang Bhatia, are you present, Himang? Sajan Shankar, Sajan Shankar, okay. Nikita Sharma,
Present, sir.
okay. Nibir Maram, Nibir, are you there? Okay. Ispraha Kumawat, Ispraha Kumawat, are you there? Ayush Sharma, Hiren Sahani, Pranav Marwaha, Fairaj
Yes, sir.
Hassan, Pranav Marwaha.
Pranam Arva present. Pranam
Okay.
Arva present.
Okay, okay. Faraz Hassan, Divyanshi, Divyanshi, are you there?
Present, sir.
Okay.
Present,
Vidhi
sir.
Chadda, Vidhi Chadda,
Present, sir.
okay. Hardik Anand, Lakshika Bhagat,
Present, sir.
okay. Ojas Singh, Rakshit Malik, Ojas Singh, Rakshit Malik, Vedant Asija,
Present, sir.
okay. Prabal Khalans, Prabal, Lakshya Arora,
Present, sir.
okay. Tanupriya Pathak, Tanupriya Pathak, Ojasvi, Ojasvi, Miss Rama,
Yes, sir. Present.
okay. Sameer Chaudhary, Yash Kapoor, Yash
Present, sir.
Kapoor, okay.
Present, sir. Yash Kapoor.
Kushagra Jain, Kushagra Jain, are you there?
Present, sir.
Okay. Then Sudhanshu, Sudhanshu, are you there?
Present, sir.
Okay. Sarthak Gupta,
Present, sir.
Shreyas, R. Shreyas, then Pranav Verma,
Present, sir. Pranav Verma.
okay. Lakshajit Thapa,
Present, sir.
Achal Shankar Gupta, Achal Shankar Gupta, Aman Goyal, Aman Goyal, Prabal, okay. Is there any problem, Prabal, in your bike? Aman
Sir, are you
Goyal,
saying?
yes, yes, yes. Prabal, your attendance is marked.
Uh,
Okay, Aman Goyal, Aman Goyal, Mohit Rohela,
Present, sir.
Vanshika Jain,
Present, sir.
okay. Gauri Dhingra,
Present, sir.
okay. Sudiksha Sharma, Sudiksha Sharma, Aditya Kumar, Aditya Kumar, then Prajwal Goswami,
Present, sir.
okay. Shantanu Raj Chaudhary,
Present, sir.
okay. Naman Kataria, Naman
Present, sir.
Kataria, okay. Pragati Mehra,
Present, sir.
okay. Aryaman Anand,
Present, sir.
okay. Parth Bansal,
Present, sir.
Bhavya Singh, Apar Bhatnagar, Ateek Ahmed, Ansh Srivastav, Naima Sultan, Sara Javed. Sara Javed, are you there? Okay. Ashita Kaushik,
Present, sir.
okay. Ujjwal Chaudhary, then Dhruv Aswal, Dhruv
Present,
Aswal,
sir. Present, sir.
okay. Vaibhav Madan, Vaibhav Madan,
Present, sir. Vaibhav Madan.
okay. Chandan Kumar Saha. Chandan Kumar Saha. Jitesh Pratap Singh.
Present, sir.
Okay, Jitesh. Chandan, are you there? Okay, is there anyone else whose attendance is not marked?
Sir, can you repeat the names of the absentees?
There are so many absentees. Okay, Nandani, Samaksh, Nikhil, then Hemant, Sajan. After that, Spraha, Ayush, Hiren, Faraj, Hardik, Ojas, Rakshit, Tanupriya, Ojaswi, then Samir Chaudhary. After that, Shreyas, Achal Shankar, Aman Goyal, then Sudiksha Sharma, Aditya Kumar, Bhavya Singh, Apar Bhatnagar, Atiq Ahmed, Ansh Srivastav, Naima Sultan, Sara Javed, Ujjwal Chaudhary, and Chandan Kumar Saha. These are the absentees.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. Okay, sir.
Okay,
Sir, can we
thank you
leave?
very much. Yeah, you can leave. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you all.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much.